Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, today we're talking about the 3 things you can do to invest your TSP like the pros, to get the most results you possibly can so that you can have an amazing retirement. And if you are new to the channel, so good to have you here. My name is Dallin Hawes. I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees just like you, and I absolutely love it. So, long story short, I've spoken with tons and tons and tons of TSP millionaires, people that have lots and lots of money in their TSP, multiple millions in many, many cases. And I always ask them, okay, what was your strategy to get to where you are today? And I've talked with others with a lot more than just a few $1 million, right? I said, okay, what was your strategy to get to where you are today? And here's the deal. Let me tell you a little secret. When most people think about the pros, the people that have gotten the best results in the TSP out of everybody, okay, they think there's some magic formula, a secret sauce, a secret way to know when to jump in the market and jump out of the market, to time the market and things like that. People think there's a secret. And the secret is there's no secret. There are 3 basic things that the TSP millionaires have done and do to get incredible results. And they're the only 3 things that you can control. And so therefore, they're the only 3 things that you should actually pay attention to. Everything else is noise. Everything else you shouldn't pay attention to. And again, these are the things that the TSP millionaires, those that retire with millions and millions of dollars, do. Okay? Let's jump in. Number 1, the first most important thing you can do to have as much as possible in retirement is to invest as much as possible now. The first thing is to decide how much to put in. Now, at the absolute minimum, all federal employees should be doing 5% of their TSP to get the 5% match. Again, that is the absolute minimum. Okay? Is 5% going to get you to $1 million? Probably not, right? Probably not, depending on your salary. It depends what you get paid. But it is a good start. If that's all you can do right now, that's all you can do right now. The moment you can improve it, do that. So the first thing is, how much are you saving? Okay? I would not save anywhere else. I would not save outside the TSP. I would not use an IRA or a brokerage account or anything until you're already maxing out the TSP. And when I say max out the TSP, I'm talking about putting as much in the account as they'll let you put in. In 2024, you could put $23,000 into it if you're under 50 years old. If you're over 50, you put $30,500. If you are maxing out the TSP, then you can save elsewhere, right? But until you're maxing out, I would just focus on the TSP, put as much as you can in, and let it ride, let it grow. So again, step 1, how much can you save and can you improve that over time? Now, I'm not saying it's worth just eating beans and rice for your entire career to do tons in the TSP and then to have a great retirement later. I'm not saying that. It's a balancing act, but saving as much as you can now is one of the most important aspects of investing like a pro, okay? Next, once the money is in there, once you're putting all the money into TSP that you can, as you might expect, choosing the right funds for your situation, choosing how to invest in the TSP is crucial, okay? So let me kind of go back to my TSP millionaire friends, okay? My TSP millionaire clients. Again, I asked them, I said, what'd you do, right? And I get a very similar answer almost every time. And what they tell me is strikingly funny almost, right? It's almost comical. Where they say, you know what? I honestly didn't know what I was doing for most of the time. I started my career when I was 20, and my manager sat me down and said, hey, look, you are going to start investing as much as you can in the TSP, and you're going to invest in the C, S, and I funds, the aggressive funds, and you're not going to think about it, okay? And they're like, okay, fine, I'll do that, right? And so they followed that advice early on, and they stayed aggressive for most of their career to get the results that they got, right? To become a TSP millionaire, okay? Most people don't have investing figured out from the beginning. They learn over time, but they start correctly, right? They invest in a way that makes sense for them. So long story short, I've got whole videos, by the way, here on YouTube about how to invest in the TSP. I'm only going to mention a few different things here, but if you want more in-depth information about how to invest, whether you're close to retirement or at the beginning of your career, I've got whole videos on that. Check that out. But let me give you some at least guidance, okay? If you are early in your career or mid-career, to be frank, if it was me, I would be almost 100% aggressive, okay? Aggressive, meaning 100% in the CS and I. CS and I. These are the aggressive funds, okay? They are going to be more volatile, right? They're going to be up and down, certainly. But over time, this is where the growth happens. The G fund and F fund, their main job is not to grow. Their main job is to be fairly stable, okay? If you want growth over time, these are the funds that are going to do that, okay? Now, are you going to see fluctuations? Certainly, definitely, okay? But you've got to ride it out. You've got to ride it out. So again, if you're early to middle of your career, this is your focus. Now, once you're within the last 10 years of your career, you do need to start slowing down. If you're close to retirement, I recommend the bucket system. I've got whole videos on the bucket system and how to invest in retirement or near retirement. So check those out. But long story short, finding the funds that make sense for you and sticking to that plan is crucial. It's crucial. I almost never see people that have done really, really well in the TSP when they've tried to time the market. When they say, "Oh man, the market just took a dip. I'm going to go to the G fund. I don't want to be in the CS&S funds right now." It's very rare that I see that happen. Okay, those that get the best results find their strategy and they stick to it. They just go about living their life. They don't worry about it. They say, "Look, I've got lots of time till retirement. I'm just going to let it ride." And again, if you watch my videos on how to invest near retirement, you find a strategy that works regardless of what the market's doing. So check out those videos if you want to know more about that. Okay? Next, once you are saving as much as you can, and once you got a strategy for which funds to use, you do want to, of course, make sure you're using the Roth or traditional, depending on what makes sense for you. So, as most of you know, I'm sure, the traditional TSP is the default. If you never change anything, all your money is going into the traditional TSP. And that means when the money goes in to the TSP, you get a tax deduction, okay? You save money now. But that also means when the money comes out later in retirement, you pay taxes on it then, okay? The money goes in tax deferred and it comes out and it's taxable. The Roth is the opposite. It goes in, you get no tax benefit, but when it comes out, it is completely tax-free. So really, if we summarize this, with traditional, you pay taxes later. With Roth, you pay taxes now. Okay? Do you want to pay taxes now or later? That's what it's about. And let me give you some general guidance. General guidance. If you're at the beginning of your career, your salary is probably not as big as it's going to be over the rest of your career, and you have tons of time to let your Roth money to grow. So if I was you, if you're early in your career, I would use Roth all day long. Okay? You don't get a tax deduction now, but your income's relatively low, right? Go ahead and use the Roth, let it grow tax-free. And again, you've got tons of time before you retire to let that compound and grow tax-free. And your income will increase over time. As you approach the end of your career, if you want to switch over traditional to get the tax deduction, that's totally okay. But again, if you're early career, I think Roth makes a ton of sense. Certainly that's what I would do personally. And that's what I do personally, right? As you approach the end of your career, it's the opposite, where if you're making as much as you're ever going to make and you're near retirement, as a general rule, I would probably use traditional. Now, I've seen scenarios where people actually have more income in retirement just based on inheritance or how well they save, and so I still recommend them using Roth at the end. But as a general rule, the traditional probably makes sense when you're at the peak earning years of your career. Okay? Again, that's general advice. If you're somewhere in the middle, maybe not at the beginning, not quite at the end yet, maybe use some of both, right? To get the balance of both, to have both in retirement is super helpful because you can decide year by year. Do you want to take out tax-free money? Do you want to take out taxable money? Right? You have decisions and options in retirement. Okay? So again, these are the only 3 things you can control in the TSP. How much you put in, what you invest in, and the Roth and traditional. Now, the last one, which isn't actually here, is how long you work, right? How long you let the money grow. Investing is a huge part of investing is the amount of time you're invested for. Okay? If you max out the TSP every single year, but you only do it for 2 years, you're not going to become a TSP millionaire. It's just not going to happen. But over time is where the magic happens. So I don't care where you're at, even if you're near the end of your career, you have to do as much as you can. Okay? Find the balance that makes sense for you. Do all these things as best you can. And again, the pros understand the basics and they execute on the basics consistently over time. That's what it takes to become a pro at anything, is understand the fundamentals and do the fundamentals every single time without exception. Okay? I hope that's helpful. If you want more helpful resources, there's tons of helpful things in the description below for federal employees just like you. Check them out. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.